Hey, this is Mike Herrera. You're listening to Magnified Pod.
This is a yelling podcast. From poking at you to plans and everything in between, this is Magnified Pod, the only podcast that discusses culture, religion, politics, and the entire discography of everyone's favorite left coast punks, MX, PX.
Yeah.
And we're back.
We back.
I am Andrew.
I'm John.
This is our podcast, and this is our 35th episode.
Boom.
Boom.
That's how old I am for another week.
Oh, that's right. Ooh.
Oh, crack it open.
Crack 'em. John, your birthday is the Ides of March, if I'm not mistaken.
It's true, so make sure nobody gets murdered. Yeah, just this beer into my belly.
That's right. Just
Oh no.
all of the alcohol.
Yep, we've got a lot of it tonight.
Got a lot of beer. I brought a bottle of the Glenlivet 12-year Scotch.
It's that good shit.
It's that good shit. And we also have water. We just have all of the liquids.
Yep.
Phrasing. So we're just gonna pour this out while we chat.
Well, that's the good stuff.
That is. You can pour as you see fit, or I can pour it.
Thank you.
So I just came from. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Let's drink.
Here, we'll just
That's good too. Yeah.
just clink them all.
Clink them if you got them.
So I just came from having dinner with my dad, who is in town.
Nice.
Briefly, he's here for a meeting with the Covenant Church.
Retro.
And they're determining whether or not a particular Covenant Church is getting kicked the fuck out.
Great.
Because of their feelings about being inclusive to the LGBTQ community.
Yep.
Not that they have performed
Sure.
a wedding.
Just talked about it.
Not that they have done anything other than hold a particular set of beliefs.
Yeah.
And the Covenant Church is saying, "Oh no, we don't care anymore about of diversity of opinion. We want one homogenous white Republican church."
Right. Pretty much.
And if you don't agree, then you're done. Literally getting kicked out of the denomination.
Yeah.
So
Not great.
No, and I'm just and I'm just filled with a white hot rage all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime this comes up.
Yep.
And you know what? I say, fine, go kick out some of the best people, and
Right.
they will then, in a way, they will be able to fully be able to grow a body of people and congregants who feel loved and supported and won't have to walk on goddamn eggshells
Right.
all the time about how they choose to pastor their churches.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
good luck with all that.
Yeah. Good luck, assholes. When you hear this, do you, as also a former Covenant Church dude, do you feel, like with each passing event, do you feel further and further away
Yes.
from the denomination or even in your past?
Yeah, I think it frustrates me because I felt like, as we've talked about, the college that we went to and that I worked at for a long time and the congregation that I was a part of felt very different from the overall church's position right now. But the more that I get away from it, the more I'm like, maybe I was just fooling myself, like maybe those leanings were there, and I was just ignoring them and hoping they would get better. But definitely seems to be getting worse, regardless. But yeah,
100% getting worse. Like actively trying to get worse. At least in our view, they're doing active harm.
right.
So long, fuckers. I have so little patience left for any of it. So, the Methodists, the
Right.
People in the Covenant who are like, yeah, we're getting into the real shit pretty early. So why don't we?
No MXPX news to blow through this time.
No, why don't we get into
Slower roll.
We'll slowly go the way of slowing our roll, and we'll do a little bit of an update on some MXPX news from last week. Steve Kravac.
Yeah.
Getting him on the pod.
It's happening for realsies.
It is no longer happening in a hypothetical, jokey sense of the word.
Right.
We're gonna get that dude on the pod.
Yeah.
So we had talked about his Summer Bliss in Autumn Tears album that's coming out sometime this spring, late spring at some point. No definitive date as of recording this episode, but he has one track out right now, like a teaser track, and we're not going to talk about it just yet. We're gonna wait until we can get Kravac on the pod. Yeah, get Kravac back, and before we discuss any of the music. But yeah, he's gonna do it. So I'm really excited. I'm waiting. I don't see a pre-order for the record just yet. He had mentioned that was gonna be part of the deal.
Where can folks listen to that song, though?
They can go to steven-bradley.com. That's STEVEN Bradley, BRADLEY.com. And the song is called Loose Ends. And it's a jam.
It is a jam.
So
you called the album title Emo as Fuck.
I did.
And then he tweeted about us talking about it and used the hashtag EmoAF. So well done, Steve. Yes.
At least he can at least he's self-aware enough to be like, yeah, this is emo as fuck. So I'm really looking forward to the album and the future conversation, and to kind of, this is the first sort of idea of what a Steve Kravac album would sound like. So I'm curious. I had no expectations really going in, so it'll be nice to go into into the album, especially with all of the people that he has supporting the album.
Yep.
So
give us your Kravac questions that you've always wanted answered.
Yeah, and we'll compile them. MXPX has also been they've been down under.
Mike has, at least. Have all of them?
Well, I guess
Goldfinger. Goldfinger is being down under.
And Millen Colin.
Ah, yes.
That's terrible. So terrible.
Was that a Swedish
accent? No, it was supposed to be Australian.
Okay, do Swedish now. Millen Colin.
Yeah. Oh, Millen Colin. Millen.
I like it.
This is just sort of my impression of my Swedish teacher. From. Did you ever take Swedish at North Park?
I did not.
Okay, so you didn't have Hans, who he was an older Swedish man, and he had this interesting way of speaking,
Yeah.
and even more sing-songy
Right.
than one would think.
Like Swedish Chef style.
Yeah, but he also had this way of he would get into these coughing fits where we're like, is he literally going to die right now from just and I remember this was in Sweden in 2003 when I was studying abroad, and he got into a coughing fit that was worse than usual. And someone went to go get him some water, and it was like a little Dixie cup or something, and then he referred to the Dixie cup as a little mug.
Oh man.
And these just sometimes Swedes for the most part all speak English with the exception of the older generations, but all younger Swedes, they're taught English in school. So
Yeah.
but sometimes there would be some phrases that were lost in translation.
Little mug.
But one of my other favorite ones was this guy Simon. He was in our year at the school, and this was in 2003, so this was a different fashion time, and he asked us, why do all American boys wear the fluffy pants? And we were like, what is he?
Like baggy?
Yes, he meant baggy.
Fluffy.
But fluffy
I
was.
live it. I mean, it's a fair question. They
Yeah.
were probably looking better over in
Yeah,
Svenska land.
they did. They had the tight jeans and the V-neck shirts.
Yeah, they were ahead of the curve.
They were they had H&M a long time before we did, so they were getting down with the fast fashion.
Yeah.
Long before the States was.
Speaking of Sweden, I saw one of Sweden's finest this week. I saw Robin in concert.
Yeah, I saw those pics.
It was really fun.
Tell me about it.
She banged out those jams. She did a lot of moves on stage.
Looks like some outfit changes too.
Yep, couple outfits. Yeah, I don't know. Super fun. It was like, I was telling Jenny after, like, I feel like I go to a lot of shows where there's a lot of dudes and the energy isn't always like the greatest.
Yeah.
And this was like 95% women and
Nice.
gay men in like costumes and
Love
stuff.
it.
And
Love
it just
it.
felt like a more positive environment.
Yeah, I mean, I get sometimes, you're to your point about shows that are like largely dudes. I had this mental image of like dudes crossing
Yeah,
their
pretty
arms,
much.
just like trying to be cool as fuck.
Uh-huh.
This is how I enjoy music.
Right.
I frown and cross my arms. And
Yeah.
I don't want to smile or show emotion.
Right. I think I talked about, so it was at the Aragon Ballroom here in Chicago, and I think I talked on the pod about how the last show that I saw there was Smashing Pumpkins, and, which is a whole story into itself.
Sure.
But there were dudes on stage there were dudes who, when they didn't like what the openers were doing on stage, would just throw up middle fingers at them, and I was just like, ugh.
How old are they?
Like, older than us, old enough to know better.
That's embarrassing.
So anyway, there wasn't any of that nonsense.
I can't imagine someone going to a Robin show and throwing up the double deuce.
No.
Was there a decent opening act?
There was this DJ called Kindness who actually just yesterday released a track with Robin on it.
Ooh, fun.
Yep. And there was this rapper called Channel Trace, and he had two backup dancers, and it all felt like kind of a 90s revival scene. Anyway,
That's cool.
This is the Swedish dance pop section of the pod, per usual.
Yep.
That's all I got on Sweden for now.
So you have in the last year. You've because Robin was in your top 10 albums.
Yeah, it's true.
Of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Mitski was also.
It's true. That's another good one.
In your top 10.
Yeah.
Did you? How many of your top 10 record folks were you able to bang out in the last year? Because I saw approximately 0 of mine.
I know that I didn't go see Janelle Monáe when she came because I was like, it's so expensive. It's at the Chicago Theater. Like, oof. I don't really like sitting.
Yeah. So, So I was just talking to somebody about how, MXPX is playing at the Bottom Lounge, and how I don't like punk bands at some place like the Aragon Ballroom because the acoustics blow. Acoustics
are usually pretty rough for anything there.
Yeah,
kind of that barn.
Yeah, it's the high ceilings, and the mix just gets lost. But in a place like the Bottom Lounge, it's a tight room. It's gonna be a packed crowd, and I just feel like anytime I'm there, the acoustics and the sound is always great.
Yeah,
so
that's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be fucking sick.
The only other one from my list that I saw last year was Low, who I saw play at the Rockefeller Memorial Chapel on the U of Chicago campus. Have you ever been there?
No.
It was nuts. I mean, it was like a giant cathedral, and they played there, and it was a very cool vibe. So that's high ceilings in a different kind of way, but I'm into that.
Sure. Fair enough. So we are probably going to be taking a break next week because I'm going to be out of town for work. So this episode is going to have to hold people over for a couple weeks.
So really savor it.
Yeah.
Swish it around.
Let me
detect the bodies, the notes.
Those John Potter notes.
Yeah, I detect some beardo vibes.
Some beard oil. Do you oil your beard?
I do. I use some beard oil in the morning.
Nice.
Keep it nice and soft and lush.
I'm so for people out there who haven't met me, who will meet me in a few weeks, 3 weeks from tonight, in fact, who are coming to the show, John has this nice luxurious beard, and I have an inability to grow facial hair, and part of me would love to know what it's like to have like this nice, the sensation of putting all sorts of, oils and lotions into. I just do that for my skin,
Right, sure.
But
yeah, I curl it, and then I just.
You get a nice little beeswax and curl it up when you're about to throw a damsel into some train tracks. So, speaking of John and his likeness, this could go one of two ways right now. But two things I've been getting back into lately. I've been rewatching The Office. I haven't watched The Office in many, many, many years, and I haven't seen many of the. I don't know if I've seen any of the later seasons. Okay. So I'm watching season 6 right now, after just like binging through. But I've also gotten back into The Sims. Did you ever play The Sims?
A little bit, like in college.
So, yeah, me too. So it's been a really long time. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
And
do you remember when we do like Sims speak? That was like a thing among Berg Hall.
Just nonsense
talk? Yeah, it was kind of like adding like Lee onto it. It's like I can't think of good examples now. Anyway.
Yeah, the Sims... It's just all the vocal inflections with no actual words.
I think it was like our buddy Brian Dirksen would be like, sometimes they would just add B onto things. So he'd be like, "How's your face be?" And like, I don't know. Anyway, I was hoping this would trigger some memories for you. But
that sounds like Brian Dirksen, bro.
We should get him on the pod. Anyway,
Anyway,
The Office.
yeah, The Office.
The Sims.
In The Sims. Well, first, why don't you share this this text that you sent me?
Well, speaking of The Office,
Yeah.
we're getting some work done on our front entryway upstairs. So tonight I texted Andrew and said, "Can you come in the back door?" And he responded with a gif of Michael Scott saying, "That's what she said." And I walked right into that one.
That's also what she said.
Sure.
Anyway, so something with that I've decided to do with The Sims, and this is what I was saying, could go one of two ways. That people might think, oh, that's really fun, or it's super
You made it,
creepy.
John?
I'm making a
Magpod
Magpod Nation neighborhood. So
Was there like Danny Stairs in there?
I made so far I made you.
Okay.
I made an April. I made a Danny Stairs. I have me. I was gonna start. I haven't made Danny Leary yet.
He's got to go in.
These so far I was making the people who are the Patreon
Sure.
folks.
This is one of their rewards.
This is one of their rewards.
We will choose to control your life
Exactly.
in a miniaturized version. Make you live together or
Yes.
die or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Danny Stairs in a closet under the stairs, and then remove the
Perfect.
door.
That's the best. Can't wait to see what happens to him.
or I'll put him in a pool, and then I'll remove the ladder.
He'll just wave his arms sort of up and down.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So yeah, it's the likenesses are not great.
Does he have a little beard, the Johnny one?
Yes. I was trying to find. There are no jean jackets. I was looking for a John Potter jean jacket style thing, and I'll have to. Maybe I can post some pictures of the likenesses. April's is actually really good.
Okay.
But you and Danny Stairs are okay.
The beard helps, probably.
The beard helps. Mine is probably the worst.
Now I really got to see these.
But yeah, I'll have to pull them up and show them to you in the break. But speaking of some of our dudes, let's listen to some voicemails. You can give us a call, 872-762-4763, 8727-MAG-POD. Leave us a voicemail about previous episode, about...
letting us know that we're the bomb and we blew up on you.
That too. You can also leave us a voicemail about how you went to iTunes and you left us a rating and a 5-star...
Yes, please.
And a 5-star review, because... this isn't just for our egos. It helps people when they search for podcasts. It helps them know, like, hey, people like this. It helps people discover whether or not they think this would be something they'd like. And we would appreciate if you do that.
I'm going to throw down a challenge. If we can get 2 new 5-star ratings,
Yes,
and 2 new written reviews this week, I will sing a song of someone's choosing on next week's pod.
that might not be the
A
biggest.
good enough incentive. I'm working off the dome here.
What about some stickers?
Hell yeah.
If
We're not above bribery.
If be the first, let's say if the first, we'll say the first 2, if you're the first 2 people to leave a rating and a review,
Sure.
we'll hook you up with a free MagPod sticker.
And if it's the funniest one,
Yes,
then we'll throw in an original drawing.
that's true. Yeah, we'll if you do that, if it makes us lull, we will give you a sticker and we'll do a little drawing
Perfect.
for you, and we'll send that your way.
This is what the people want.
Yeah. So speaking of iTunes, remember how we we were commenting on somebody who left a review, and we're like, we didn't know who that was.
Yeah.
Well, we have an answer.
What's up, guys? It's Dad. Just calling to confirm that I am Igranko. It's been a gaming name, I don't know, for a while now. Jeez. Maybe before my son was born, and he'll be 15 next month. Whenever I first started playing online games, I made the name up. It's a mixture. It's actually supposed to be from Tolkien's Elvish languages. One is High Elven and one is Low Elven, but my handwriting's horrible. I know it's hard to believe, so it should actually be Igrauko. It should be Rauko as the second part, but the words together mean spell demon, but it's misspelled, and nobody would ever truly mix High Elvish and Low Elvish. You know, kind of idiot would do that. So, in any event, that is me. I do think you are a handsome dude. I would up you from decent pod to above average if I was doing it again today, though. So, anyhow, Mad Pod for life.
Reviews can be edited, I believe.
Oh shit! Sorry, I fell asleep during the explanation of High and Low Elvish.
Shade thrown.
Well, we're gonna need to get some Nick Polk in on that.
Yeah, he's a published Token author.
He is. Well,
Token cultural
critic. Or I guess what he publishes
expert.
Essays.
Sure, yeah.
So to our boy Nicky P, would or would not somebody mix High and Low Elvish? We're going to get to the bottom of this because I like Lord of the Rings. I'm not an expert by any means, but I don't know. Maybe Danny Stairs is lying to Magpod Nation. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Danny Stairs wants to stir up a little bit of a controversy.
What's up, guys? Your boy Danny Stairs calling with a follow-up question, kind of building on what CJ had asked about if you were making your own version of new revisited Poking at You, but it's a different question, kind of turning us on its head. Looking at Aaron Sprinkle as a producer, obviously he did amazing work with Poking at You and recording it in that garbage can. And then he did some interesting work on Secret Weapon, not necessarily in a garbage can, but a lot of stuff maybe should have been thrown in the garbage can. So my question to you, which Aaron Sprinkle work was worse? The way he put out Poking at You, where there's some great songs, some great bones there, but he just recorded in a garbage can, or Secret Weapon, where again, great bones, there's some good stuff under there, he just overproduced the fuck out of it. So let me know what you guys think. Magpie for life.
Fascinating.
It is a controversy.
This is not the usual Danny Stairs methodology.
No, it is not. It's taken about, I don't know, 9 months for him to start asking us real questions and participating.
Yeah.
But I think if we're, I feel like the evidence is already there in our ratings of the records. Even though Pokin' At Ya is, I think it's maybe number 8 for me and number 7 for you.
Yep.
It's one of those records that I think is only there because it objectively doesn't sound great and it's a bloated record. And I think also Secret Weapon has the same issue. It sounds better, but it is also extremely bloated.
Yeah.
I think our ratings kind of stand for themselves.
If you're just talking song for song, which I prefer, like which one has more songs that I like better, it's definitely Pokin' At Ya.
Yeah.
Which maybe a lot of people would find to be a crazy statement or something.
I'm 100% on board with that.
Yeah. And as we've said, I really like a lot of the songs on Secret Weapon, but just track for track, I mean, whereas it was really difficult to lose some of those Pocanatcha songs when we came up with our shortened version. I could lose Plenty of Secret Weapon and not feel too sad about it.
Yeah. And also some of the Secret Weapon tracks, I like the guest spots that they have.
Little Mikey Mo.
Little Mikey Mo, a little Louis D.
That's right.
It really kind of fleshes those those tracks out, and I think those are the tracks that to me really shine. Some of the others that kind of bum me out, like Punk Rock Celebrity or Top of the Charts, or Sad Song. Those they don't do anything for me. But like Angels or Chop Shop or You're on Fire, those songs.
Yeah.
They sound great and they just jump out, and they're but even still, there are more songs on Pocanatcha.
Yep.
That are there for me.
Agreed.
So we talked last week about you stealing and me lying.
Yes.
To get some stuff. Danny Stairs has some. He's coming to his defense.
What's up, guys? Your boy Danny Stairs. I just start off by saying it's super cute how great your guys' moral compass is, and the guilt that you guys had about these John's little stamp and Andrew's stolen water bottle, or where he cheated to get the answer or whatever. Super cute. I never really had those issues with feeling bad about anything I ever stole. But those are all crimes, alleged crimes when I was a juvenile. So no worries, I'm going to jail for that. And I would like to clarify, I did eventually start buying NXPX stuff, probably like starting with Ever Passing Moment and then everything forward. It was just I got that first one, loved it, and then just had to real quick stock up on everything else. I didn't have that kind of funding at the time. I would continue to steal other things, other CDs, but I would buy the MXPX stuff because I was like, I really like these guys. So that's just the only point of clarification that I wanted to make. And I've made amends for my sins by contributing significantly to the Kickstarter, et cetera, and so on. Anyhow, Magpop for Life, Sulu, motherfuckers. What was the other one? I forget. There was something else now that we can sign off with. Please do not remind us. All right.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't even remember.
There was something else.
Something,
we'll have to look it up.
Yes, thank you for turning your life around and putting money behind the things you support now.
Yeah, I'm curious. He's like, I gotta support these guys. I'm curious what the other bands. He's like, fuck these guys. I'm just
gonna continue to steal these.
Continue to do the 5-finger discount on this, and who gives a shit? Yeah, I started doing some Googling because I wanted to see if I could find that water bottle, that Dare water bottle that I.
Nothing.
I found one image of only one Dare water bottle. So, and I tweeted it. I think it was tweeted at MXPX memes Danny Leary.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know.
There are a lot of Dare water bottles out there, apparently.
What? No, I think it. I don't think it was. I think it had. No, I think it was this one.
Ooh, that one's cool.
The one. It was a red top. It was I remember it being a sport cap. That was the more important thing.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't. I don't think it was that black one.
Do you think it's in the garbage today? Where do you think it is? Or you returned it to the officer?
I don't. I think he let me keep
okay.
it.
I'm gonna let this one slide. But
I wonder if I have it still. It'd be funny if I did.
He's got a really thick Chicago accent in my head every time I imagine this.
He's like, hey there, you
Yeah.
fucking kids stealing the fucking water.
Ooh, here's a water bottle that I want.
Double Dare Live.
A Double Dare Live
Nalgene.
Nalgene. That is the shit. Remember when Nalgenes were like huge when we were in college?
They were huge.
That kind of stopped.
Yeah, it did. Because people didn't want to have plastic water bottles anymore.
Right.
And then the aluminum water bottles became, and then stainless steel became a thing.
I've got a glass one.
Then the Life Factory glass bottles. What is this? Is this Life? That's not Life Factory. What is this?
Beaker.
Oh, that's not a brand I'm familiar with.
Well, it's very sleek.
It is very sleek. So speaking of
Sleek?
accents,
My dudes, how you doing? How you doing? It's your boy Nicky P. Hello, dude. Just
That's
wanted
good.
to try out my terrible Italian accent because the 2 episodes ago, you guys are bringing out the accents, and terrible accents are my favorite, especially terrible Italian ones. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know. So, anyway, which reminds me, my favorite, especially my favorite Italian accent that's terrible is Bill Hader's Al Pacino. And speaking of that, I'm surprised that you guys haven't brought up a lot of politics lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised you guys didn't bring up the Michael Cohen thing. I don't know if you want to, but Bill Hader did a great impersonation of Jordan, and it was fantastic. Anyway, I want to know your comments and your thoughts. Number 2, second point of business, is talking about the cover, like the cover on the cover 3. I don't have 10 songs, but I've got 5 in mind that I was thinking of. And number 1, I think it would be fun if they did a Bowling for Soup song. Those were like my boys back in the day. I think that them doing Emily or Girls All the Bad Guys Want, those songs would be sweet. Rancid, I think if they did Ruby Soho would be pretty cool, and Mike would be able to, show off his fancy bass skills. 3, is with 5 Iron Frenzy, featuring 5 Iron. I think it'd be sick if they covered All My Best Friends Are Metalhead by Less Than Jake. I think they could make that pretty sweet. Number 4, more modern, contemporary, would be the song No Case by Masked Intruder. I saw Andrew post the vinyl that he got the other day, and that man is fucking sick. And I think that song has some good bones that MXPX could make their own. And then number 5, Hear Me Out, but Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry. Best contemporary punk song in the past 15 years, in my opinion. Let's see what else. I have another point of business. I'm running out of time. I'm going to call back with another voicemail. MagPod for life.
okay, so
Lots to go through there.
yeah, Michael Cohen talking about accents. So let's tackle that first. I feel like my typical go-to accent is kind of like fake New York Italian
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Just because it's just kind of like this fucking guy. It's like, hey, I'm going, get over here, you fucking prick. I'll show you.
The gestures are a lot of it.
Yeah,
Andrew is gesticulating.
I always do the 2 hands. Oh, gabagool.
I was gonna say gabagool.
Marron. That's kind of my.
This is like Sopranos viewing
So,
right here.
I don't know if we've talked about Pete Holmes's bit where he talks about how that there's like acceptable racism and that making fun of Italians is still something that's not controversial.
Right.
You can like he talks about the Mario Brothers, and he says, "It's a me, Mario." It's like he says it's like they're making fun of an immigrant who's just trying his best.
I mean, he's done pretty well for himself.
He's done all right. But anyway,
I have no trouble with my green card. Select player. Nick, I think there's only one thing I gotta say to you.
It's ice.
Oh man,
Oh boy.
Wario has always been the ice of the Mario games.
That's true.
But the only thing we have to say to Nicky P is get the fuck out of
You
here.
fucking guy.
Calling up to our show.
Calling
Get
our
the
show.
fuck out of here. I don't know.
I did like Ben Stiller as Ben Stiller has been great as Michael Cohen. So the one thing I'll say, I did watch I'd say I watched 80% of
Yeah.
the hearing that day. So this is what I'll say. I became very annoyed with the Republican line of questioning because, first off, it wasn't really questioning so much as it was, this guy lied, he's a liar,
Right.
he lied once, he's going to prison for lying. Did I tell you yet that he lied?
They put up giant poster boards behind
Liar,
people
liar,
that said,
pants on fire.
yeah, super nuanced.
It's like, this is Congress.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's so embarrassing.
Yep.
But also, if your argument is somebody lies at a hearing or lies at one point, then they're no longer credible.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, your president that you're defending
Yeah.
is a compulsive liar.
Yeah.
You can't use that same argument when the president can't not lie. Trump is the kind of guy who lies not because he needs to, but because he doesn't know how to tell the truth, and he lies about stuff that you don't even need to lie about. It'd be like, is this car blue? This car, this is it. This car is like, it's the most beautiful blue. There's no other kind of blue like it. There is no other car that has this shade of blue. Like you like, it would just, he has to compulsively spin some story about
Right.
how he's the best, something he's done is the best,
Yeah.
or it's
Many
different.
people are saying this blue has never been seen before.
And I was the first one to see this blue.
No other
Believe
people
me, people,
can see
believe me.
this color blue. I'm the only one who has the vision necessary to see this
I
kind
have
of
the
blue.
particular rods and cones in my eyes to see this shade of blue. You know, when you have that.
Rods and cones.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
I was very happy that Bill Hader was on that SNL and he crushed it. The one thing also about that whole bullshit was like, was it Jim Jordan who was like, hey, check out this black lady that Trump knows.
Oof, that was tough.
And then they're like, AOC and God, what's her name from Michigan?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, so this is kind of racist
Right.
to use a black woman as a prop because you're literally saying, I'm not racist. I have a black friend. I have family members that are people of color.
Rashida Tlaib, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Rashida Tlaib. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not cool.
Yeah. And and then they're like, they had to stop the whole hearing to comfort the white guy who was upset
Right.
when he got called out. And I'm just like, is there anything more quintessentially white and white privilege than to be called on some of your racist shit and
Right.
then to get all your big crocodile tears over? It's like, yeah, see, this is the thing. When you get called on your racist shit, you don't get to be the victim.
Right.
And so that whole part was, it was just stunning.
Yeah.
I was stunned
Yeah.
that this was happening in real time.
I think for me with it happening, it was just like, I can't even get myself to feel any possibility that this could mean something significant. Like anytime there's like, here's proof that he did this thing, it's kind of like, just like keeps moving along. I don't know. I guess I stopped getting my hopes up that any of this could mean anything significant a while ago. Maybe that's a defeatist attitude, but
yeah. I mean, I'm not hinging anything on Michael Cohen.
Yeah. I mean, it can only be good that stuff like this is happening, but I feel like it's like we got him. It's like, well, we got him like as soon as he stepped into office.
Yeah. I think AOC's line of questioning.
Yeah.
The freshman Congress people were the most prepared, it seemed.
Yeah.
That they had pointed questions where they were setting things up to say, who were these people that knew these things? Who would know about these things?
Yeah.
And giving potential for those people to be brought in, to be questioned, rather than asking Michael Cohen about is there a tape of Trump hitting Melania, and just like does he have an illegitimate child? Like those are, come on guys.
Yeah.
That was not like, let's. And Michael Cohen's like, no, I don't know. I've never seen any of that.
Right.
Because
he's like, I'm literally showing you a check that he wrote.
Yes.
Like, let's focus on that.
Let's focus on the actual evidence rather than trying to. We don't need more. Like all the stuff that exists already
is crazy enough.
We don't need to find the P tape.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. There's worse than the P tape that is here, and we're just ignoring it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we can.
Though. If the P tape does exist, I'm not saying that wouldn't be amazing. I'm just saying it's
it feels so good. You like it.
This P, it's golden like everything else in this room.
It's the finest P that hamburgers and French fries can produce.
I love the hamburgers.
I forgot about that.
Isn't it insane that hamburgers is something that we have already forgotten?
Yeah.
And he also served fast food
again. You idiot.
I can't. It's just there's so much nonsense.
So much.
And
oh boy.
The fact that we just move. Did you see that quote of the tweet that he was like something about from Hannity's program about how this is like a new McCarthyism.
Chocolate. I assume that's what he was referencing.
Yes.
Kathy fans are called McCarthys, as we all know.
Yep, and this is why the Green New Deal it's a form of McCarthyism because it's going to make everybody go on diets.
Right. Oh boy! Now it sounds like we're doing a Boston accent. It's a new form of McCarthyism.
These McCarthy's.
We really have been all over the place this up.
That's true. Well. People like our terrible accents, right. So they can deal. On to the second part.
Okay.
His on the cover 3. So are you a Masked Intruder fan?
We've talked about them, right? Like I think I really only know them from you talking about them.
Okay, they rule. They're from Madison. They wear different colored masks, and the whole theme of the band is that they're criminals, and all of the songs are about them getting arrested and stealing things and going to court and standing trial and breaking out of prison and things like that. And I like their identities aren't known.
Right.
But somebody messaged me the other day after I posted this new album, and she's like, "Oh, my fiance knows all these guys," and I'm
That's
like,
cool.
"What? Like, you know who they are?
Get them on the pod.
Get them on the pod." Yeah, I don't expect them to be like any well-known punk dudes, but
Sure.
some people have tried to say, I wonder if they're like actually the guys from Chicks Dig It or something, but they are not, because I'm pretty sure Chicks Dig It is from Canada and Masked Intruder is from Madison.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they sound different.
Sure.
So there is that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what was there else that he was saying? Do you remember what else he said?
I don't know.
I don't
There's
know.
a lot.
He has another.
You talked about it.
Hello again, my dudes. It's your boy Nicky P. Voicemail part 2. And then number 3, third point of business, is the Pokinatcha question.
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't hear Pokinatcha until I was in college. I knew it existed, but I probably didn't find it until like 2011 maybe. And at first I just did not like it. But I also didn't listen to a lot of like hardcore punk stuff. Like, I didn't discover Minor Threat until probably, my senior year of college maybe. But as I've gotten deeper into the whole of punk rock, I think that
That's what she said.
come to appreciate the album more, and I'm gonna oddly come to its defense, because I mean it's number 10 on my top 10 MXPX album list, but not because I hate it, but it's not my favorite as far as quality. And I have the same experience, I think, as Danny Stairs, where I heard Slowly Going the Way of the Buffalo first, and everything after that. But I think I don't think we should remake it. I don't think it needs polish, maybe some trimming, but I don't think it needs any polishing. I mean, the whole Minor Threat discography, if someone tried to redo that, I just couldn't listen to it. I mean, I just want that raw, shitty, crunchy, hardcore punk kind of sound. It just fits for the time and where they were as a band. And I think it goes the same for MXPX. Nowadays, if they were putting out Pokinatcha, I'd be like, well, what the fuck? But they don't do that. But I think you should just leave the album as it is, as, what it was for its time. It was fantastic, and I think it still holds up as far as as a hardcore punk album. Anyway, super long messages, but I had to talk to you guys. Many smooches, Magnified Pod for life. Peace.
It's an interesting take. What do you think?
I've just been so fascinated by all the Pokinatcha feedback we've gotten, because it's like all over the place.
It is all over the fucking place.
But there does seem to be a contingency of people who are like, I discovered it way late and wasn't into it because I didn't like harder punk until later. And I think for us, we liked that at an earlier age, so we were just more ready for it.
Yep.
So maybe that's a fundamental difference, but I don't know.
I think it's an interesting argument that, well, let's take this other iconic band and their works, and if we mixed them or whatever, would it be the same? And I think it can be done. I'm not saying like, I don't know, like I would be fine with them just remixing and not re-recording.
Yeah,
I
don't want a re-recording.
No, I don't know. I don't remember what we said on the episode, but I think if they just remixed it,
yeah,
I would be perfectly happy.
Yeah,
with that, and not even like I would without even trimming it, just as is, if it was remixed, because you can still have that crunch and that edge,
right,
without mixing it into like a squeaky clean mess.
Yeah. I think that's what we said on some of the 10 Years in Running tracks, was like, I want the scuzziness of Pokinatcha to be retained, but I think when they did their best work with the remixing on that record, it was like, keeping the original vibe intact, but just improving the levels, and like we said, not making the guitar so much dominating the other sounds. And
Right.
so anyway, thanks for your thoughts, Nick.
Thanks, Nikki P. And we have one last voicemail.
Hey guys, we have 3 more weeks, and I'm gonna be in Chicago, and it's gonna
Ooh.
be so fucking rad. I can't wait. So yeah, I want to talk to you about this song called My Life Story. By the way, there's a reason I like it so much, aside from the fact that it fucking rocks. But it's kind of like actually my life story. So please don't hate me forever. I'm better late than never. And I'm still actually not going to give you my cover list because I have a notebook that I wrote down a bunch of stuff on, and it's not with me at the moment. So that's going to be another voicemail at some point.
Boo. You have...
I mean, stretch out that content. We get it.
Yeah, all right, fine.
So go ahead and call me out all you want, but I usually / always make good on my promises. So that will be coming. Anyways, about My Life Story. First of all, it's a fantastic song. And I do think that it's an opener, and it's always going to be the opener. However, what I think is going to be, well, I guess not going to be, hopefully going to be really, really, really awesome is that if on Friday in Chicago, they opened the show with Friday Tonight.
Yeah.
I'm saying it here just in case it happens. I called it. I think that would be super rad, but otherwise, like, I don't know. I think it's a great concert opener, and I think that you guys will enjoy it, even though you like to complain a lot about, you know, things not being the way that you want it, and all you're like, oh, that makes PX that nobody wants to hear.
Open with study humans or nothing.
This is a false narrative.
This is a Tom C. narrative.
Yeah.
April, you've been talking to Tom C. a little too much.
My suggested set list was very heavy on newer material, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I had as the opener.
Yeah,
It wasn't Friday Tonight.
No,
But it was one of the other.
Let's listen to the remainder.
Did we post this?
We did.
Okay.
And we'll listen, and then we'll get to it.
Because, I don't know, we just like better quality stuff. But yeah, anyways, fun fact, I think that My Life Story is the first song that Tom Chichilla heard and what made him like them. So I'm guessing that will make Andrew love the song even more. Also, I'm sorry for the, like, confusion. I don't know what's going on with me, but I think that normally I just, like, text you when I hear something that you say that I want to talk about. I'm talking to Andrew. Sorry, guys. So I must have just thought, since I didn't respond about the things that I thought that John said that he didn't, that I just assumed it was him, so I had to leave a voicemail so that John could, you know, hear my response. But anyways, I suck at life. I'm very sorry about that. Also, John, Pisces Unite, and there's a reason that we like Red Starburst. I mean, like, down to the core, it's all in the stars. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye.
Good stuff, April.
We won't hate you forever. So my opening for our set list, for our individual set list, was Theme Fiasco, as I discussed, I think, on a previous and yours was Rolling Strong. Okay. But we also...
yeah, that's right.
We both had number 2, Darkest Places. I unfortunately... my 10 song set list would be probably different today than, but
fascinating.
But yeah, because I didn't put anything from their new album on there, which is a complete oversight. But I think my rationale was songs that I would probably never hear.
That's right. We had kind of different approaches, because mine was more like, what is the thing they might actually do?
Yeah. and mine, Shanghai in Shanghai with Mike Cohen, and
that would be rad. What's up, Chicago?
there's our
What did I? Can I see that real quick?
dick to cry on.
Because I think I had I think I said I basically had the first 4 songs all could be openers. Yeah, I had. 5 really. Rolling Strong, Darkest Places, Play It Loud, Friday Tonight, Middle Name. That was my first 5, and really, any of those you could open a show with
for sure,
and I would like it more than My Life Story. Some of us had been listening to 3 or 4 MXPX records before hearing their first song, but we're not all MXPX's manager, so.
That's oh shit.
Anyway.
Burn notice. Don't at us.
Wait, 4? Am I wrong? 3, right?
What's that?
I said 3 or 4. It's only 3.
3 albums.
Maybe in, life in general. Let It Happen. I'm doing myself no favors. Get the fuck out of here.
This fucking guy thinks he's on an MXPX fucking podcast.
Oh boy.
John, you want another beer?
Yeah.
You want that? You want that Crystal Hero, or do you want the
whatever you want, man? I think you should try that Cashmere.
that Cash?
I'll wait a second on cracking this guy.
So for you, MXPX Chicago heads, another Chicago brewery.
That's right.
Another Chicago brewery, Revolution Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Logan Square.
Yep.
They are. They've got a giant tap room warehouse.
Yep.
Brewing facility that's really cool, and they've been rolling out a whole bunch of different IPAs focusing on a particular kind of hop.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had one called El Dorado Hero.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Crystal Hero, the Cashmere Hero.
Yeah.
And then there's probably their most popular one, the Anti-Hero, which is just their flagship IPA. So you can't really go wrong with they're just solid. They're not mind-blowing.
No.
They're good. They're really good. They're really solid.
They got big at a time when smaller breweries were not so much a thing yet. So it was the first kind of relatively small one to offer stuff. So at the time it felt very whoa, and now it's kind of not as mind-blowing as others.
Half Acre and Revolution,
right.
I think, were 2 of the 2 craft brewers in Chicago. Outside of Goose Island, which now is less of a craft beer than it is. It's a beer giant these days. But Half Acre and Revolution are, I would say, are probably the 2 biggest craft breweries in Chicago. I don't count Lagunitas because they are a transplant from California, even though Lagunitas now does have a brewery in Chicago. I still think that Half Acre makes some of the best beers in Chicago. Chicago proper. I know there are lots of other breweries outside the city that have some competition, but I'm Half Acre fan. What would you say between the 2?
Yeah, I think Half Acre usually a little more weirdness they're willing to try. Yeah. So.
And I know Johnny Potter likes those weird ass beers.
It's true.
If they're throwing something fucking weird in there,
give it to me.
Give me the fucking
with the little gabagool, mozzarella,
with a little bit of marinara.
Sure. I think we talked about this off mic, but
what's that?
I would prefer to try something unusual or that I haven't had before than like something I know I'm gonna like.
Yeah.
Because I want to try something different.
I think that's bananas.
Unless it's like a banana beer, and then I'm not interested.
Like, have you tried the banana bread beer?
Oh, I have had that. Yeah, it's okay.
Gross. See, like for me, I look at that and I'm like, fuck that. And
Sure.
I'm not spending money on something that's guaranteed not going to be something that I would ever drink again, because I know it's just going to be a novelty bullshit beer.
I'm all about the spicy beers lately. That's my deal.
You know what? I have a sriracha beer at home.
Yeah, the actual sriracha. Yeah, I've had that too. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's different.
See, I don't. The thing with spice for me is, so do you remember when, the Ballast Point Sculpin?
Ooh, yeah. I really liked that one. You're gonna say something disparaging about it?
No, Sculpin is great. It's a great beer. And then they started coming out with the grapefruit Sculpin.
I mean the spicy one.
And then they made the habanero Sculpin.
I really liked it.
And I was like, and I tried it, and the consensus was, this really just makes me want to drink a Sculpin.
Without all this other shit in it. Yeah.
It's just like, because basically it's just, there's no flavor. It's just heat.
I mean,
it's not imparting any chili flavors.
Sure.
It's just, I'm assuming they just have some sort of an extract in there to make it hot.
I think so. But I started getting so into that when Jenny would get like, my wife,
very nice.
Yeah, would start getting some standard IPA beer that I was sick of, I would cut up a jalapeno and put it in there because that made it more exciting.
I'm not opposed to that, because in actual food, you're going to impart some of the flavors of the actual chili.
Sure.
So John, we need to do hot sauce. You know what we should do? We should do our own version of Hot Ones.
I like it.
At some point, where you and I, we get some hot sauce.
Yeah.
We'll do like 3 different hot sauces.
Okay.
And we prepare 3 questions for each other.
This is a good idea.
And we're just gonna rip off.
Right.
We'll rip off the Hot Ones segment.
Yeah.
Hot Ones show. I mean, we've plugged them on the show, so we'll bite their content.
Yeah.
But I think if we have 3 separate hot sauces, and then we ask the person a profound question that would require some thought.
I like it. I don't think I would make it through the rounds of levels of hot sauce as far as you would, but
you're a spice lord.
Am I? I like spicy stuff, but I feel like, as we've discussed, once it gets like not enjoyable, like painful, I'm not interested.
No, I'm not talking like, I'm not saying that we need to do like
ghost pepper or anything.
2 million Scoville.
Sure.
But like I'm a spice fiend, but I'm sort of in that same vein where I would rather enjoy the food than like be in pain while eating the food.
Yeah.
So I tend to emphasize the hot sauce flavors than
sure. But I trust your judgment.
But there is I find like I do like a little bit of pain.
Sure.
I want to be able to feel the hot sauce.
Uh-huh.
I want to be able to feel that chili. I want to feel that spicy chili.
Mm-hmm. Feel those tears fall right out of your face.
Right out of my goddamn face. So, on that note,
are we done with voicemails?
I don't think we have. Well, I guess we do have. This was I don't know. Maybe we'll cut this. Maybe we'll just make this for the Patreon. We'll see.
Okay.
Another Danny Stairs. This is in reference to us talking about the Screeching Weasel and PX Punk poster.
What's up, motherfuckers? Your boy Danny Stairs calling with another complaint. You guys, why are you making fun of me? That time I modeled for the PXPX Robin thing, you got to point out that I have no package? Come on, guys. I'm a single man. I'm out here trying to get with some ladies, some men. I don't even know. At this point, this many years, anything. If it's warm and has a heartbeat, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, don't make fun of my small package anymore. Magpie for life, motherfuckers.
I don't know. I've seen that sparkle unicorn get up you've had on. I think you might have something on the PX Punk in that image.
Yeah, I don't know. You're not leaving much to the imagination. Yeah, you might be a unicorn, but you got that unihorn.
Yeah.
That unibone.
Sure.
I don't know. Something.
Don't call you the narwhal for nothing. I don't know.
Yep.
Danny Stairs dressed up as a sparkly, bewigged unicorn for the 5-iron show. Battle dancing unicorn with glitter for a 5-iron show, in case anybody doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yep. Anyway. All right, so when we come back, we are going to tackle Goldfinger's 2017 album,
The Knife.
The fucking knife.
The knife, get the fuck
Get that fucking knife. Put that fucking knife away. We'll be right back.
Blacked out again down in Mexico.
Pick it up.
Welcome
right.
to Here in Your Pod Room. Our Goldfinger pod.
Oh man,
That's the best I could do.
You are on top of me. I don't know why I never think to come up with an album title or a podcast title.
Because it is not important.
Who cares? It's still fucking awesome. It really. Yeah, Here in Your Pod Room. God, that's so good. I'm into it. Yes, we are doing The Knife, which came out 2017.
Yep.
Features our boy Mike Herrera.
That's right.
On bass.
And background vocals.
And those background vocals. So, he joined back in 2016.
That sounds right.
I believe. This is the part of the podcast that is the Bond film.
Sure.
That is not.
Mike was in that too.
Yes, Mike was actually. He was first chosen over Sean Connery.
Right.
For that role, but
yeah, he's a chick magnet.
But then they discovered that Mike wasn't born yet,
right,
so they had to go with Sean Connery.
It was a weird glitch.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It was one of those dark timelines. They just, anyway, yeah, so Mike joined in 2016, playing bass and backing vocals, as did Travis Barker and Philip Sneed. So this was minus John Feldman. It's a completely new band.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't released a record in 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
So, I mean, if I were in Goldfinger and we hadn't released an album in 9 years, and Feldy was going around, pumping out album after album with other bands,
yeah,
I'd be like, fucking
Hey Feldy,
where's the fucking studio, bro?
Yeah, I mean, so they formed in 94, and then they sort of had a hiatus from 2008 on. They weren't sure that they'd put out new records. John Feldman, somewhat famously in the kind of punk world, became a producer, produced a ton of bands.
Tons.
Famous vegan, animal rights dude.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I think my understanding is that when the new lineup formed, they kind of got energized and he wanted to do new stuff. So yeah, July 21st, 2017 on Rise Records. Should we? I mean, this is brave new territory for us. This is our first non-MXPX. I mean, we did a 5-iron interview, but full other album deep dive.
I mean, the only reason we're doing this is because Mike is technically a Goldfinger.
It's true.
Member.
He's credited as a songwriter on 4 of the tracks.
He's, and he sings them BGVs.
He does.
So,
should we talk a little bit about our history with Goldfinger?
Sure, go for it. Why don't you start?
I mean, I was a pretty big fan of those first 2 records. I think, like most people, the self-titled and Hang-Ups. Right? Those are the first 2?
I mean, there's songs for nightclubs.
I don't know what that is. That sounds like remixes or something.
I don't know what that is.
Well, the bigger Goldfinger fans out there can scream at me for being wrong right now. But yeah, I liked those records. I
don't even think that's an actual Goldfinger album.
Something might be screwy on Spotify. It's my favorite Goldfinger song.
This is not Goldfinger. Somebody might want to get on the Goldfinger page on Spotify.
Yeah, some riff-raff going on.
And check out whatever the fuck this is. What the fuck is that?
It was a real sophomore slump. They went in a real weird direction. Yeah, no, I maintain the first 2 records. Yeah, and like any kid who heard Here in Your Bedroom when it came out, I learned that bass line immediately. I mean, that's so great. So, ready for it? Show us how you do it today, Mike. Classic. This was a junior high jam for me. So yeah, I have friends who are super into them and have always been.
Friends?
I have a couple friends besides you and Harriet that have always been big Goldfinger heads, and I've always liked them but not loved them. So I don't know. We'll get into this. The record is very produced sounding. But that didn't necessarily throw me, because to me, that's they've always kind of been produced sounding, like not in the way that they are in this new album. But I think it didn't necessarily throw me because their sound has always been a little poppier. I mean, they've always kind of been leaning into the pop song brand, which they do big time on this album. So I don't know. What do you think? What's your history?
So I was never a Goldfinger fan. I was familiar with them because, I was familiar, I'd heard of them in high school, but I was Less Than Jake and Real Big Fish, Suicide Machines fan, Aquabats, those were the ska band, and obviously 5-iron, Supertones.
I mean, Goldfinger was a little different because they didn't have like a horn section. They were more ska punk, and then they would have horn features sometimes. But
that was the same with
Suicide Machines.
Suicide Machines.
Yeah.
They
the horn features were rarer for Suicide Machines.
And same and Op Ivy and Rancid.
Sure, yeah.
They were. Rancid was more street punk, but they had some of that ska flavor too at times. But I only ever heard Superman and Here in Your Bedroom on the radio.
Her eyes were hazel, her name was Mabel. That one? Oh, that's a jam. You gotta listen to that one later.
Which song is that?
Mabel, baby.
See, here, I just didn't. I didn't listen to them. They weren't one of my. I remember the iconic artwork with the big titted Amazon alien woman.
Sure.
Chasing the dude. and the Stomping Ground cover with them like and destroying Japan, like those were like album covers. I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing those when I was in high school.
Songs for Nightclubs cover. Great one.
I don't like so guys, go to Goldfinger on Spotify and figure out what the fuck this. Oh, it's Danish.
Oh, that makes sense.
Sony Music Entertainment.
Oh, little mug for my band.
This song is called Sugar Daddy.
Sure. That's how those Danes get down. I mean, I'm into this, whatever it is. It's great stuff.
Blood in My Veins.
Sure. Let's do a pod about these guys instead.
Sick ass bass, bro.
When you are in Copenhagen and shit is getting weird.
Yeah, the songs for the Copenhagen nightclubs.
Where my Copenhagen heads at?
I don't know. Where are Danish listeners?
Yeah.
Songs for Nightclubs by Goldfinger.
This has been a very Scandinavian heavy ep.
It has been. How's that universal healthcare over there, guys?
Yeah. How's being the happiest part of the world every year?
And also 99 Red Balloons.
Sure.
Those are like the songs, obviously literally their biggest hits.
Yeah.
So going into this episode, I think if listeners know anything about me and my takes thus far, 35 episodes in, they should be able to make an educated guess at this point in the episode.
Yeah.
Where I'm going.
Sure. But I also feel like I'm usually the negative one. So we might be swapping roles a little bit.
You're goddamn right we
are. It's going to be an interesting discussion.
It's going to be an interesting discussion. So before we start, I just want to say the one thing that bothers me the most about this record, and I mentioned this to you before we started recording, is the millennial whoop.
Okay, right.
And you said you had not heard of the millennial whoop. So this was
like whoop, 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 whoop.
No, it is not.
Just kidding. That's the drum machine joy whoop.
It is. So the millennial whoop is a term that was coined by a writer. I think he's a music critic or something. His name is Patrick Metzger. And this was coined in 2016. And I found a video that compiled some very well-known millennial whoops.
Okay.
And once you recognize this pattern in songs, and especially how it's been so prevalent in the past, especially 10 years, the meteoric rise in the past 10 years.
I can't wait.
So yeah, here we go.
Sure.
So what they're explaining in this video is that there's a shift from the fifth note in a scale to the third note and then back to the fifth. So it's called the 5-3-5, and it is.
Yeah.
So he coined this term called.
Yeah.
it's so fucking annoying.
I like a lot of those songs.
Yes. But here's the thing. Those are individual songs.
Sure. But once you think about them as a pattern.
Yes. There are 13 songs on this album.
There's a lot of
12,
whoops.
12 of them. I
believe
counted.
it.
No, you don't have to believe it. Because
I have empirical evidence.
I'm telling you that with the exception of See You Around, every other song has the millennial whoop on it in some version.
I don't know if I mind the millennial whoop.
It drives me crazy.
I mean, it also got, think about like Arcade Fire, like, whoa, and like Mumford, and it became a whole thing in the kind of like indie world too.
Yes, I know.
You're just saying it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Worship music, it's like very big, or it was several years ago.
It's lazy. The millennial whoop replaces lyrics.
Yeah.
It is used as a device to get stuck in your head.
Sure.
And you can do that, and it can be literally almost any song. and sometimes they tack it on to the end of a word.
Sure.
And just elongating the O at the end of a word.
Mm-hmm.
And it replaces lyrics or any, like, so what I have discovered about this album is that the choruses are my least favorite part of the
interesting.
records.
I have great chorus on a lot of my notes for these songs.
Nope. The choruses bug me the most. I am on board for the most part.
Okay.
Until I get to the chorus.
And then it's like, whoa, whoa.
Yes. If they did that on like 3 songs, I would give it a pass.
I mean,
12 songs. Like who is saying to Feldy like, "Yo, Feldy, let's maybe pump the brakes on the whoa-ohs or the na-na-nas."
He's the producer, baby.
Yes, I know. But
here's something. Discussion.
Here's something else that's interesting. So I was curious. So I decided to look at some recent albums produced by Feldy.
They sound like
and
this.
And every one that I've listened to had the millennial whoop in it. Albums that he had worked on recently. Blink-182, Good Charlotte, Atreyu, a fucking metalcore band, Mayday Parade, 5 Seconds of Summer, The Used. So all these bands that he has worked with, and a lot of the times he's not just a producer, but he's credited as a songwriter. So he's going into these projects.
Guys, what if? Whoa.
Here, just listen to me. Just
hear me out.
Hear me out. What if we did a whoa?
Oh, that's just what we need.
Have you thought about that? So I'm beginning to wonder if Feldy is partially responsible for the perpetuation of the millennial whoop in alternative music.
Well,
because it's obviously been there in a lot of pop music, but it has become a standard in a lot of pop music and alternative music, and I just can't get down with it because a whoa-oh or a na-na-na every now and then is fine, but like if you're using that as the bones of your chorus, I mean it's almost like he can't help himself. Like and so now that I've like taken the scales off your eyes, I'm wondering if you will notice it in a different way before like going into this album. Because I know you said you like the choruses.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if seeing it as a pattern now, if you'll start hearing it in a way that's like, could something more creative been done right here instead?
Sure. I mean, this is solid research. Thank you for bringing it to the table. I will go in with an open mind. Here's my take. There's no denying that it's very slick, often overblown. It's Reverb City up in here. But it's very catchy. And
it's catchy. It's meant to be.
I think, it largely leans into its ska roots, which I like. I like that they're not shying away from that. And I think one thing I sort of identified is that a lot of what bothers me about poppier pop punk is the vocals. Like, I can't hang on to the whiny vocals. And I've always liked Feldy's voice, and I like it here. So maybe that's one of the things that makes a difference for me. I don't know. But I think we need to start actually going through some whoops, some whoa-wows, and getting into it.
This is funny. There is someone created a Millennial Whoop playlist on Spotify.
It's probably great. Wall-to-wall bangers.
Really Don't Care by Demi Lovato, Good Time by Owl City, Ride by 21 Pilots, Live While We're Young by One Direction.
Okay, never mind. These are not good. But Owl City is a perfect example of what I was just talking about, where it's just like, as soon as I hear his voice, I'm just like, ugh, like, and this is how we're gonna sing. I'm just like, ugh. Anyway, I digress.
I mean,
what do you got?
I get down with Owl City.
It's because you're an emo guy.
I am emo.
I can't abide the whininess.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do some Owl City. We'll do an Owl City podcast.
I don't know about that.
Pod City. All right, let's start with A Million Miles. Oh shit. Is this a punk record? Oh shit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go.
Take a breath, now take a beat, 'cause I can't take no more. Everyone is taking shots, how can I beat the score? Where did my life go? Where did my life go? Where did my life go? I just can't hold it back no more. 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 Everyone says let it go, but you have never walked this road.
Dude, this is my number one.
It's my number 2.
Okay. I think this rules.
This song rules.
Okay.
It's 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
How you do it?
It fucking rules. The part where they lose me is
Go.
the end.
Oh. Sure.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. But when the
Unnecessary.
hey, when those come in, that's great.
It's great. This song is great.
Everyone says let it go, but you
Little
have
ska
never walked this
guitar.
road.
And that little reverb part there.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
But yeah.
This is one of the few songs on the album to me that's like, it's so solid, but when the vocals kick in, and
like
it's just so slick.
Yeah.
And I really would have liked to have heard his voice more up front and less such tight,
Yeah.
plasticky sounding harmonies. They just sound so processed.
Yeah. I have that as a note on some other songs. I think on this one it doesn't bother me. I mean, the chorus is so great, and it's so like
The drums fucking rule. And
it just
and the hold on.
I just can't hold it back. I just can't hold it back no more.
Unnecessary. They should have ended it right there and gone into the next song.
Sure.
And just kept that
Sure.
those drums into the. It just would have been perfect.
I could see either way. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Get what I need.
It was 30 years ago since we smashed the window of that Northern California house. A safety pin in my ear on K10's bike, playing Bad Brains fucking loud. Smoking weed on the streets in the California heat. Spray paint on the walls. Stealing booze, cracked a tooth. We had nothing else to lose. Getting wasted to twist and crawl. Someday you'll find everything will be alright. I lost myself just to get what I want again. Lost myself just to get what I want again. Someday you'll see everything I left behind. I lost myself just to get what I want again. Lost myself just to get what I need. To get what I need. Fade away in my head again.
This is my number one.
Okay, interesting.
This it's just such a solid ska punk song. The horn intro
Yeah.
sells me immediately.
Sure.
And
It's very classic third wave. Sorry, Danny. Dan. Danny. I get the Danny and the Dan confused.
there are too many. If they
yeah.
ever meet, they need to battle to the death.
One hates being called Danny, and yet we call him Danny every episode.
Danny Stairs does not go by Danny. He explicitly told me he doesn't like
Right.
Danny,
And
which
yet.
is why I started calling him Danny.
But yeah, the horns are very, whatever you want to call it, 90s era ska.
Punchy.
Yeah. This is interesting. I feel like the tables are turned a little bit on this one, because what I have in my notes is I love the ska verses. The chorus is too poppy for me on this one.
What?
Let's hear the chorus. Because it loses the ska vibe.
It's a ska punk song.
No, I'm on board for this. When we get to the chorus is when he loses me. See, this to me feels like millennial woe. I don't mind it, just like the dun 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 dun. It sounds like what's that pop song from the 90s that's like dun dun? Is it like I love you always forever?
No.
Like that kind of thing.
No. So here's the thing. This album shouldn't be called The Knife. It should be called The Trope, because in
I
addition
think it should be called My Wife. Sorry. Keep
very
going, Trope.
nice. So in addition to the woes and the na-na-nas in every song, this song has what literally every punk band has ever, a song that every punk band has ever written since the beginning of time, and that is Everything's Gonna Be Alright.
Yeah.
That is, you can swing a stick and hit a punk band that has written a song about how everything's gonna be alright.
Especially a ska punk band.
There's something about a 50-year-old man writing a song like that.
Sure.
That's like, it's a little strange, but I'm into this song. I don't.
To get what I want, don't get what I need. To get what I want, I don't get what I need. Someday
This part.
you'll find everything will be alright. I lost myself.
See, I would have thought you would find that too overblown,
It's fucking
but
sweet.
the drum roll is good.
Travis just crushes it.
He's
on
a good
this
drummer.
album.
I mean,
He's okay.
yeah, I definitely like this song. Also,
God.
shout out
This
to.
is gonna be a brutal episode.
We're already-
I'm
our-
sorry if everybody.
One of our top three is already the same. It's
I
pretty good.
know. Well, I think we're probably gonna disagree.
Danny Leary. Little shout out. There is a pop song. Do you know what I'm thinking of? Dun, dun. Let me know if
All
anybody
of them.
I know, but
All
there's like a
of them.
famous one. Whatever. Little shout out to Twist and Crawl there. Listening to Twist and Crawl per Danny's English beat reference a few eps ago.
Yep.
Anyway, am I deaf?
You've been talking to yourself again. You haven't figured out you're your only friend. You've been fighting with yourself again. It's time to give up. Brush your teeth, comb your hair, what's left of it. Write a song, see a show, stay relevant. Sing along to the jam, feel young again. Time to live it up. It's time to live it up. Every time it feels just like I lost it. Oh, I realize that my head is just so full of shit. Who gives a damn about the songs you're playing? Just say it. Sometimes I feel so old, yeah. Am I deaf or am I just a little left of what they listen to today?
Some na-nas instead of the whoa-ohs.
The intro really sounds like Everclear to me.
This so yeah, it's very Everclear. I have in my notes that I think this sounds like some 41.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially this part right here at the beginning. I was like trying to figure out.
You haven't figured out you're your only friend. You've been fighting with yourself again. It's time to
This part here.
brush your teeth, comb your hair, what's left of it. Write a song, see a show, stay relevant.
Yeah.
There's just something about this that says some 41, but Everclear
agree.
is that is
I mean,
a great observation too.
This one for me gets a big old meh.
It's probably the song that feels like it's the most introspective and honest song on the record.
It's definitely questioning his relevance.
Yes, but then he slides from asking legitimate questions about staying relevant as a 51-year-old punk rocker and following it up with na-na-nas and then millennial whoops in every other song.
Sure.
So it's like, is there any self-awareness about
I mean,
like
maybe he's like, this is how you stay relevant. You got to do some whoops.
maybe, I guess, I don't know, but
this whole thing is just a little too much, too slick for me. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I don't know.
I didn't know what was happening there.
So this was the first single. They originally released it in 2013
yeah.
with like the old lineup, and then they re-recorded it once they got the new band. But this was like their big release, like in those years without anything. They put this out, and if I was a Goldfinger fan, I would have been pretty bummed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This is not my favorite.
No, this doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I would much rather listen to some 41, which I did today. I was like,
Because you don't know us at
no,
all.
we left when old people fall.
Yeah.
What would you expect with the country so small? Heavy metal and bullets, it's how we roll.
Let's head down to Tijuana for that Tijuana sunrise.
Blacked out again down in Mexico.
Bass.
Yeah.
Jose Cuervo got me again.
Give it to me, Mike. There it is.
Wasted again with El Diablo. Alcohol, my only friend. Smash the bottles on the reef. Wash the dirt off of my feet. That was the summer of my life. I've been drinking to forget just how good it was. I was drinking with you, then I'm drinking till noon. Now I'm drinking by myself. I've been drinking to forget 2. Then I'm drinking till noon. Now I'm drinking by myself. Tijuana sunrise shine upon my face.
It's true. That is all over the place.
It is all
You're
over the place.
correct.
The bass in this song
It's nice.
is dope.
It's, yeah. This one is okay for me.
Yeah.
It's a nice chill ska vibe.
It probably is my number 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
Because
In the top half.
I like the chill.
Yeah.
And the O's are
Kind of in the
a
background.
little bit more subdued
Yeah.
than whoa. They're not the chorus,
Sure.
so I can hang with it a little bit more.
If the chorus on track 2, instead of having words, was just whoa, would you hate it?
Fucking
Okay,
kidding me.
but you like it because it's got words.
It's the same 5-3-5.
Sure. But you like that one,
Everything will be alright.
right? But it's not whoa whoa whoa. So it's,
Yes, because he wrote words.
Sure, I get it.
Replacing words with whoa oh is lazy.
Now hear me out. Na na.
Lazy.
Yeah, this one is in Reverb City. I don't need all that reverb.
Down in Mexico.
This is fun though.
She took me
I mean,
for everything I
if I'm on a beach or I'm at
So-
a bar by the sand, I'm loving
So
this.
the one thing I take away from the song that I find most offensive is that they're smashing bottles on a reef.
Yeah, come on.
Fucking not cool, guys.
Coral reef is disappearing.
Dude,
Get it together.
Yeah, you better not be, chemical sunscreens or bleaching coral reefs. They're
Not cool.
Not cool. Get it together, guys. Feldy, I expect more.
Ooh, put the knife away.
Put the whoop away.
You say nothing matters to me. You say we've got broken history. Hold the knife away from me. You say I don't get how you think. You say you're closer to the brink. Hold the knife away from me. Not closer to mine. Always right, you're never wrong. Telling me I don't belong. Just put the knife away and try to listen. You say you change, you stay the same. Always driving me insane. Just put the knife away and try to listen. Never say sorry to me.
I'm so curious to hear your thoughts.
So I like this song, but it has the most blatant use of the millennial whoop on this album.
Okay, it's my number 2.
Okay.
I love it.
Driving me insane.
Yeah. See, I think it sounds great. I'm into it. I'm in the crowd. I'm pumping my fist. I think it's a great chorus. The gang vocals kick in. I'm into that.
Yes. I'm like A Million Miles.
Fight this life you painted red.
I'm on board
Until the slowdown kind of.
until right here.
Okay, I get
Up
it.
until 2:13.
Sure.
I am on board because it doesn't do anything. This does nothing for the song.
It feels good to me. I like it.
No. God damn it. There's so Mike Herrera
Yes.
has been able to put out
The H-bomb.
banger after banger of
Without
albums
whoa-oh-ohs.
without peppering whoa-oh-ohs.
I remember specifically calling out whoa-oh-ohs on Buffalo, and I think on Ever Passing maybe even.
Yes, every song.
No. Sure.
It's
I
okay.
hear you.
So
I think I'm more of a
like-
sucker for it, like
Okay,
the rest of
so-
America, I guess.
Yeah. So I like,
I'm a plebe.
you add salt to flavor something. Dumping a
It's like licking a salt lick.
It's like putting an entire bottle of salt into something is not going to make it better. You need to just sprinkle it. Whoa. God.
Give me that salt. Salt.
Oh, God. I don't know. Like, I like the song.
I'm super into it.
God.
This is the second single, by the way.
Yeah. The first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this song is actually fucking rules. But then when you listen to it as part of a whole,
Sure.
it ruins it for me.
Okay.
Because if this song on its own, separate from the rest of the Goldfinger album,
Sure.
because this is the first song I heard off this record,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, maybe 2 years ago when it came out, like on Spotify, listening to my, whatever their recommended tracks were.
You're like, that's pretty good.
I was like, oh, it's pretty sweet. But now listening to it as a part of a whole,
There's a formula.
I'm just like, it feels so lazy and uninspired.
Feels great. I think there's a little bit of the like Weezer Rivers Cuomo syndrome where he's like, if I perfect the correct algorithm, then I'll get popular. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
which is not a good way to songwrite.
No. And when as I said about Feldy and all the, so Blink 182's California in
sucks.
It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
And he's credited as as one of the co-writers of that record. And why do you think it sucks? It doesn't. So I'm not okay. So Feldy is he's a very competent producer. Yeah. He can really craft and produce a really tight record, but it seems to me like he's trying to write hits.
That's what I mean by the Rivers thing. Like there's a formula you plug in.
And so it's almost like he wrote an album of 13 songs thinking one of these the formula is going to be...
I mean, he's not wrong. Like
he's playing the odds.
Sure. Yes, I get all that. But I think he knows what he's doing when it comes to crafting a pop song. I mean, but I certainly agree. Just don't let me go. That's the next song. Ooh.
Is this Blink 182?
Might be. I'm feeling this.
Sending out another SOS, 'cause my head is such a mess. Gonna lay down in the bed I made, turn around and face the strain. There are days I cannot find myself, and no one offers any help.
I'm on board right now.
Sure.
SOS, 'cause my head is such a mess. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Don't let me go, don't let me go, don't let me go. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Don't let me go, don't let me go, don't let me go. Listen up to Santa comeback song, 'cause I've been...
They recorded this one in a cave, apparently. There's so much reverb.
Yeah, this is a 21 Pilots song.
Well, there literally is a member of 21 Pilots on one of the tracks later. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Well, yeah, that's the territory we're in.
Yeah, no, it does. If I told you that this was a new 21 Pilots song,
I mean, I'd be like, I don't like them, so this is an improvement over that. But I hear you. What I wrote down was that I would have liked it if it were stripped down. Like, I would like to hear a more basic ska version
John
of this
Potter,
song.
you're
What?
you okay. So
Tell me.
the song we listened to before was "Put the Knife Away." That was slick as fuck.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this needs to be more stripped down.
Well,
You like the poppiest, slickest songs on this record so far.
but those are the big, fast, poppy hook songs. This one is like, it feels like a nice kind of ska song, but it's just too much
This
for
is
me.
Tijuana Sunrise 2.0.
Yeah.
Not done as well.
Agreed. I love a trombone solo though. I'm into that. Yeah, hit me with that. Whoa.
Are you seeing this
I am
yet?
seeing it.
Are you seeing it?
I mean, I totally hear you. The like, don't let me go. But that's a good song. That's a good one too. This is a great song.
I like Churches.
Um,
And the one before this was Owl City and
I know.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
I know. I think I realized. I just heard the Carly vocals and that triggered a nice thing in my brain. But the catchy pop chorus of the like, don't let me go. I mean, that could be a big hit pop song. That little, I like that. It features Takahiro Moriuchi of One OK Rock, which is a Japanese pop punk band. So there you go. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right. Well, then let's move on to Snooze Fest.
Wait a second. This is Beacon. Is this Poison?
Over the mountains, I see the open sky, pulling me in over the hills.
Wow.
It seems like visions of kings and princes, castles made of clouds and rain. How do I stand still? Whoa! So many visions. I have one voice. So where do I fit in? And how do I get home from here?
Put the knife away.
And the sky's so gray. So where do I fit in? And how do I get home from here? Have I lost my way? And the sky's so gray. Are you my beacon leading home?
Yeah, that's fine.
I like that bass part right there.
I like that. I really like the Poison-y ding 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 ding. When it starts, I'm like, oh shit, we are in for some fun. And then it's just kind of like pretty straight ahead.
Yeah,
Rock song.
it's a boring song. So I just want to use the 7th track for the 7th inning stretch and say, I know I'm not making any friends on this record and on this
I
episode.
think people like this album.
Yeah, I know I'm not making any friends, but I'm sorry. Not sorry. I didn't grow up listening to Goldfinger. This album has its moments, but I think it's lazy and it bothers me. It really, really bothers
It's a
me.
good pull quote for the cover. It's lazy and it bothers me. Magnified pod.
I think
You
everything-
bother me.
You fuck, get the fuck. No, like Mike. What I wish there are more Mike moments.
Yeah.
Like he shines through on the Tijuana Sunrise, the Don't Let Me Go, this sort of slow, like jammy ska songs, and I think I wanted him to be more utilized. So here's the thing. After I listened to this album a bunch, I needed a palate cleanser, and I listened to the self-titled record and fucking just
The MXPX self-titled record?
Yeah.
Okay.
And MXPX self-titled, not the Goldfinger self-titled.
Which also is good.
So I listened to MXPX self-titled, and I was just rocking the fuck out, and I was just like, man, Mike's bass work I wish they had some more.
Yeah.
They used his skills more.
This is the set opener. It's always going to be better than My Life Story. We've heard this one enough. I mean,
how dare you? This is better than anything on the knife.
Well, I'd certainly co-sign that. I mean, yeah, it's especially kind of surprising actually for Goldfinger being a bass-heavy band, like I talked about with Here in Your Bedroom and those ska releases that relied so much on those bass riffs. I was expecting a little more bass solo action, but
this is what I'm saying. And especially when you have Mike fucking Herrera.
Mr. Bassface.
Mr. Bassface. He slapped at the bass big time.
This
big time.
We've done that and Borat several times this episode, so we're crushing it. This album.
That is the first "I Love You, Man" reference.
I've said "slapping the bass" multiple times on this pod in the past.
Not
on this episode. Oh. So you're good. You're good.
No, okay. You're talking about on. Big time.
Big time.
Big time.
I always like that because Rashida Jones actually does like a good Jamaican
slap
impression.
at the bass. I slap out the bass.
Let's do a rush up. This album has an 82 score on Metacritic, so
false.
I think most people do like it. Anyway,
am I okay? There has got to be somebody out there listening, who hears this.
I mean, I'm mostly with you
as a whole. That like Mike is a better songwriter than Feldy.
I mean,
no, objectively.
No, I agree with you, but I think other people would not.
No, that's fine. I guarantee there are people.
For us, like, of course.
No, but like I can make an assessment of songwriting capabilities.
Sure.
Like, obviously there are within the punk universe. I think Mike is among one of the most prolific pop punk songwriters. I think as he's aged in his career, Mike has gotten significantly better.
Yeah.
And in my limited experience with Goldfinger, this album feels like I said, rolling the dice, trying to play the odds about trying to write a hit. Why else make 12 songs with the woes in it?
I mean,
and trying to get one to land.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that.
I don't know.
I don't know that Feldy could pull off a tumble down. We'll leave it at that.
He couldn't pull off a tumble down. He couldn't pull off an Arthur. He couldn't pull off Cooties. I'm standing up for my boy Mike here. I know he's a member of this band, but my critiques of this album have everything to do with the songwriting of the lyrics and the woes, which I am assuming Mike wasn't being like, hey, Feldy, I know this is your territory, but hear me out. What if...
How about a few more?
How many few more woes? And instead of the woes, how about the na-na-nas? Can we throw some fucking na-na-nas in there?
Well,
na-na-na-na-na.
You know what sounds good to me is this next song. Who's Laughing Now? This is my number 3.
Okay. Did they need that in there?
I like it. I certainly hear you.
I think it needed to be more stripped down. I think.
Not on this one. No, give it all to me.
You're so inconsistent.
Because this one is like, it's a fun, fast pop ska sound.
No, it feels wrong to say that on a Goldfinger.
All right. Honestly.
Honestly. But if they removed 75% of the woes and na-na-nas,
Yeah, it'd be fine.
like like I said at the very beginning of this episode, or at least of this segment, I am on board for the most part until the chorus.
Okay.
And it
I love this chorus.
fucking ruins it.
I think it's a great...
Like, somebody needs to go through and edit out the woes.
That can be your project.
No, I
have listened to this album enough. Thank you.
It just, like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm one of the people that's like, it doesn't do anything for me.
Sure.
That series of 535s, it doesn't do anything for me.
It must do something for a lot of people because it hits me in a sweet spot and it feels nice.
So there is a song. I don't know if maybe it's this next song, or I think it might be this next song where they don't resolve the woe.
Okay.
It's the whoa, and they
Just
don't.
leaves it there?
And they
And you
do,
like
they,
that?
They no.
Oh.
No, what I'm saying is, to your point, that
Oh, I see.
there's something
It feels
that
unsatisfied.
it feels unsatisfying. Well, the 535 feels satisfying because it resolves. There's something about the 5-3 or the 3, whatever it is, where it's like it hurts that it's not resolved. So it's almost even worse.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I think I'm just a sucker for a shout-along chorus. They got the gang vocals in there. This one also goes into kind of harder territory later, and it almost feels like Fistful of Sand reminiscent to me. The 5 Iron song. See where they're like building it up? Yeah, dude. This feels so great to me. Whoa. Would you be on board without that?
That is literally what I just said.
I know.
If he came up with something,
Where were you
what it's doing is that it's replacing lyrics or instruments.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah. If you had a trombone like that'd be cool.
Something that
Sure.
took effort.
Like an organ or something.
And if there were like 50% less of those on the record,
sure,
it would almost be bearable. But what I'm saying is, the first 10 songs have this.
Yeah,
it's almost like a parody.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. I notice it now. It doesn't bother me.
I don't know. Maybe there's something broken in my brain.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I get it, but it works for me. I don't know. Like, okay, so we've done all 3 of mine. That was my number 3. We've only done 2 of yours,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
I'm very curious about what the other one is. Yeah. Perhaps it's Say It Out Loud.
So this is what is the name of
the Weezer song that this is a ripoff of?
No. Fuck. It's Are You Gonna Be My Girl by Jet.
Uh-huh.
So let's start with Say It Out Loud.
Not Say It Loud.
Say It Out Loud.
Yeah. Say It Loud is MXPX.
Okay. Okay.
All right,
and what
now, Weezer's "If You're Wondering If I Want You To." Pretty similar. It's a tried and true pop rock trope,
Yep.
perhaps.
All right.
Very similar. The moon was shining.
I said, "Are you gonna be my girl?"
Is a strong word, and I don't wanna live my life in fear. Say I will be heard, and I will promise this won't end in tears. Cuts like a sliver, and you can act like you're the one who's hurt. Cry me a river, but I'm the one that ends up drowning first. Assassinate me right behind my back now. Will you ever grow a spine? Say it out loud, say it out loud, say it out loud, right to my face. Oh, say it out loud, say it out loud, say it out loud, right to my face. Oh.
Yeah, you want him to go, whoa.
Yeah, see, this is the thing where there's something about, and this is partially why I think the 535 works, is because there's something about it that resolves, that feels pleasurable.
Sure. This feels
But-
pretty pleasurable to me.
It doesn't to me because the whoa, it
But then
doesn't.
it goes straight into do 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 do.
It doesn't
do.
resolve, and
I
so
just I mean, the chorus is so hooky. The like, say it out loud, say it out loud. It's kind of another version of the 535, I guess.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. This is probably my number 4. Rip-offs notwithstanding. Like,
Yeah.
it just feels like, this feels like it should have been a single to me. I'm surprised that it wasn't. It's very similar. Wow.
Yeah. And
Say it out loud.
say it out loud. Say it out loud.
Wow.
I said, "Are you gonna be my jet?"
She's my little orthodontist girl, living in a sterile world.
Andrew is shaking his head. Whoa.
Backlit rubber glove, paper mask glove. She's my little ortho girl.
I'm feeling this.
Feeling this.
Your eyes, like 2 drinks of water, and I'm thirsty, baby. I dream about what your mouth
He's burying his head in his
You
hands.
must have perfect teeth. With your mask on, your lips. They could be bigger, they could be smaller. I don't care at all. I can't talk, 'cause the doctor's doing something.
We should stop this
Okay.
before you just
Oh my God.
smash this table.
All I wrote in my notes was no.
Fuck this. I wrote fine, silly / winky, which is your favorite mode. This is
No.
like couldn't wink any harder.
This is not even winking. I don't. So.
No.
That's all I said. All I said was no.
Oh, jeez.
No, but this is what I don't understand about this song. Like, so he goes to an orthodontist?
I mean, he wants her to be in his mouth. That's
No,
all.
okay, no. But an orthodontist is different than a hygienist.
Right.
An
Orthodontist is like purely like braces and stuff, right?
Yeah, I feel like an orthodontist is something like it's focused on some sort of a you had some sort of a procedure or something or surgery or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it's focusing on something in that realm. A hygienist is different than a dentist an orthodontist.
I mean,
they're all different things.
Dentist and hygienist don't have the same onomatopoeic orthodontist feel.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying is that orthodontist.
She's my little hygienist girl.
Yeah.
But I hear you. Perhaps he needs braces. Some adults do.
That's true. Maybe Feldy needs to get them chompers straightened.
I know Gwen Stefani had bracelets for a while. I don't know. Ska punk. This one features Josh Dunn of 21 Pilots slapping those skins.
God damn it.
You cannot escape it.
I can't. Until, if you don't have anything else to say about this song.
Driving down this road I know so well. Street lights just came on. Sun-stained sky, horizon fell.
Emo as fuck.
Quick check is long gone. Together we will be alright.
Is this you too?
Little things that get in the way. Even when we are laughing, even when we fight, we shine so bright. It all comes down to memories and casualties. You know, I'll still be waiting. One thing that we have is knowing what we were. Yeah, we said,
God damn
I'll
it.
see you
Stop it.
around. I guess I'll see you around. I wrote songs for her in my father's garage.
Marky Hoppus.
Stayed awake till dawn.
Let's keep it going until the U2 riff. Because it sounds so good.
Those days are all long gone. All the lights
Ooh, yeah.
and we laughed and it swept us all away. In the back
Well, the streets have no name. Whoa.
You're ruining the song.
Okay, this is your number 3.
This is my number 3.
Okay,
It's the only song with no woes.
so by default, it makes
No,
your list.
no, but it's the fucking Where the Streets Have No Names guitar.
It sounds great.
So fucking good.
Yeah.
And Mark Hoppus on this song sounds so good. It sounds like an Alkaline Trio song too.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like a U2 Alkaline Trio song,
Yeah.
and I'm really into it.
We're
and
all
it's
over
also it's also you're probably like, it's so emo.
Yeah,
Fuck
it's
emo.
too much for me.
And I'm into it. I'm
Yeah.
so into it.
It's a tough opening for me. Like, it feels just so emo. And
What do you have against emo?
it just feels like embarrassing and cringy to me.
This song is embarrassing and cringy.
Well, I mean, Orthodontist Girl is a beautiful statement about
He wants her gloved hand inside him.
the
Because
chorus.
she's inside him.
The chorus is
Because
huge,
sex.
right? The chorus is so huge and emo. It all sounds good and catchy, but it's just like a little too much for me. Like, it's just too much. This is why I feel like we're all over the map, because for this one I'm like, it's too much, it's too overblown, and you're like, no, this is where it's good. See, I don't need these vocals. This one, again. Wow.
No, don't
Tonight.
ruin. This is the one song without it. So don't you dare ruin it for me.
But this is another one that I'm surprised it wasn't a single, especially with Mark Hoppus on it.
Right?
It should have been
This is their wrecking hotel room
for
song.
real. Those U2 riffs. I mean, yeah, if I heard this live, I would be very happy.
Yeah, well, let's just listen to it.
See, this is like, I don't know, something about this reminds me of like, I took a couple pills, like that vibe.
Wait,
I mean, that feels great.
oh man, my penis is floating right now.
Just like those ethereal guitar notes.
God, my penis is a balloon. It's lifting off.
Another great pull quote for the cover. Ooh, lift off. And what the fuck is
What
this?
year is this?
It's time for liftoff. I've been holding on to the floor. Everybody's come to watch the show. Everybody's come to watch me fall. It's time to lift off. I've been holding on to the floor. Everybody stands up to watch me
Bass sounds
fall. Watch me fall. There's no such thing as gravity. Yeah, there's no such thing as gravity. We got 5 seconds to the end of the world. Yeah, 4. Ever I'm a finite girl. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we got liftoff. We got 5 seconds to the end of the world. Yeah, 4. Ever I'm a finite.
All right. This is a Jason Mraz song.
Okay, I put Maroon 5, but I
No.
think you're more correct.
No, it's... Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
No.
Got 5
I tried to be
seconds
giving it my best. This and
Yeah.
nothing's gonna stop me.
Yeah.
Divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours.
5 seconds to the end of the world, then. It's again the like. Dun, dun, dun,
Such
dun.
thing as gravity. We got 5 seconds to
I
the
mean,
end of the world. Yeah, 4,
in Goldfinger's defense, I like this a lot more.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, we got liftoff. We got 5.
Yeah, this is real tough. Another tough opening for me. It feels very weird. But as you said, some sick bass lines.
Yep.
Into that.
Yep.
Overall, I think it's fine. I don't know. The chorus is fun. So this one has Nick Hexum of 311, and the sound is it's that very big, dumb 311 sound. So like, I give a pass to that sound because it's a good time. I don't know. I'm having a good time. Andrew is disappointed in me. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Go to your room.
I like a big dumb 311 sound. We're throwing our hands back and forth on the beach.
Haven't we had enough of that this evening?
Well, we've only got one more, and it's my least favorite song on the album.
Oh my god.
Mila. Feeling this.
I think we can agree that that Feldy heard Blink-182's self-titled record in 2005 or 6.
I mean, it's a
It was
great record.
And he's like, all right, I'm
The,
I'm feeling this.
The drum sound that's muffled really made an impression.
Where do we go from here?
That's great.
Mila, you're my little señorita. You're my little angel that I love.
Andrew's leaving the room.
My star of love. Mila, when it hurts your anesthesia. When life turns around and knocks me down. You are the sound that brings me round. You showed up and you made my life so much better. Mila, Mila, Mila. You showed up and you changed my life. Here forever and ever.
I'm a little bit of two minds about it because I am not into it. And it's also about his daughter, which is nice. It's a little song for her.
Do you know who wrote the most superior song about
The H-Bomb?
the H-bomb?
Oh, yeah.
He was throwing balls, and
Worried about what was gonna happen when he was dead.
yeah,
His family gonna look up in the sky and think about him.
yeah. So Mike wrote Moments Like This, a very touching song about his family and about his children.
He wasn't like, sailor, 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 sailor.
Fucking roads, you're so fucking sweet, and I'd like to tell you all the nicknames that I came up with.
It should have been like a nice little, I don't know, B-side or something he recorded just for his family, because it's sweet, but it's like, I don't need it.
It also feels really personal in a way that's like
it's very
too personal.
Yeah, not in keeping with the rest of the album.
No, like the moments like this feels very like sweet and touching without being like, I want to squeeze you and I always want to kiss you. And
it's just kind of a bummer. And then it goes into kind of lullaby mode later, like slowed down.
Yeah, like so when I listened, like, to be honest, I didn't know this was about his daughter until I looked it up.
Me too, and I felt better about it after that.
I didn't.
It made a little more sense.
I always want to squeeze you.
I want to squeeze my kids, hold them close. That's not weird. That's normal. He's giving me a pain face right now.
I don't know. I don't have kids, but if I don't know, maybe
you just weren't squeezed enough.
You're my little angel, you're my turtle dove.
I mean, it sucks. Like, it's not good. But I think squeezing is okay as a parenting idea.
So, okay, this is why I gave you that face. When I think my first thought went to grabbing ass.
Okay, well, that's not where mine went.
Well, it's because I always want to squeeze you. I always want to kiss you, girl.
Because you're always squeezing asses.
I'm always squeezing asses, but also, I always want to kiss you, girl, is not a line someone says about their child.
It's a little weird. I mean, I want to kiss I don't know.
You're my world, my baby pearl.
Baby pearl is a tough one.
It's a tough line.
Yeah, I don't.
You showed up and changed my life. These don't
bullshit.
These don't sound like lines written about a kid.
I mean, I don't know. I think this should have been like a secret song or something. Hidden track.
This shouldn't have been a released song.
Yeah, maybe like a nice online bonus or something.
Orthodontist Girl and Mila should not.
If you cut them, I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, make it an 11-track album like MXPX.
Yeah,
and you would have saved 5 minutes, and it would have been a solid 34 minutes, and
throw a few more whoa-whoa-who's on there.
Jesus Christ.
You got a good album. Well,
add more whoa-ohs into... Let's just replace all the words with whoa-ohs and na-na-nas. Na-na-na-na, tea, you want a sunrise. Na-na-na-na, put the knife away. Na-na-na-na.
No. Once again, when you send your hate mail, I'm the one that talks like this. And Andrew's the other one. Don't mistake us.
I am John Potter.
This album sucks. I don't know. I thought this was going to be an interesting discussion. I'll see what people think. I thought it was fun to go through. I think you hate it way more than I do.
I wouldn't even say I hate it.
You're just not inspired.
I think it's uninspired and boring.
Yeah, sure. Well,
like there are, like, if someone said no, I was going to say something mean as opposed to the other mean stuff I said.
It's been so positive up until
this point, but I was going to say, like, I'm at a point in my life where I don't care about, like, if someone likes Goldfinger, great. If someone listens to Goldfinger and is inspired and happy and goes to a Goldfinger concert and is like, fuck yeah, the knife, this album rules. Whoa. And they're like, I want more woes, I want more whoops. Then, like, cool. But when I listen to this album, I have an objectively different visceral experience with the record. So but at the same time, I'm not going to hold my standard of enjoyment and experience to anybody else.
Yeah.
And I knew going into this episode that I was going to be significantly more negative than I have been in a long time.
Since before everything, maybe.
Since before everything and after was probably the most, and that was a fucking long time ago.
Like 20 episodes. That was no, more than that even.
More than that. What episode? I'm curious what episode that was. That was episode 8.
Yeah.
That was 27 episodes ago. And I feel like I've been fairly positive about almost everything. Well, Secret Weapon. Okay, so we'll say 25 episodes ago.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't relish in one of the John and I almost didn't do this episode because I was concerned about how negative I would be. But I do think that there are moments on this record that there are some high points.
Yeah.
But I think it could have been better.
Yeah.
It could have been better because of just some unnecessary bullshit.
They're no MXPX. But
Correct.
I've enjoyed doing a deep dive into
Podfinger
here in your pod room this week. And yeah, it's funny. Our buddy Tyler, who's been on the pod before, huge Goldfinger fan.
That doesn't surprise me. He has questionable judgment.
They came to town probably 2 years ago when this album came out, and I was so close to going, and I waffled, and at the last minute I didn't. He went, and he was like, it was super fun, and I haven't really regretted it until now, and I'm like, I wish I would have gone to that, because I had fun digging into this. I don't disagree really with the vast majority of what you're saying. It's just, it's a different vibe. And like I said, if MXPX put out this record, I would feel very differently, but different kind of band. It was fun to step away from the boys in MXPX for a bit and look at something else. And I don't know.
If Mike started writing, whoa, in the next album, how would you feel?
You know, I'm here for his experience. I don't know.
John, look at me.
I think we know the answer, which is it would be before everything and after, and we would all be bummed out.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a great song. Are we just gonna listen to good Goldfinger songs now? I mean, this certainly sounds less polished.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are also no whoa.
Yeah, true. But I feel like it still feels similar somehow to me. No, Andrew disagrees. I don't know what it is.
His voice is not scrubbed clean.
That's true.
And it's not produced. It doesn't feel plastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he also he has this James Hetfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost wonder.
Yes. Sir.
Mabel, give me 5. Give me that much. I wonder if
Superman.
If Goldfinger fans feel the way that some XPX fans do, where if they did like a more polished version of that now, people would be into it, you know? Like,
interesting.
What we've said pretty much is we don't really like when they scrub up the old songs, but maybe another good one. This was a cool thing to do if you were 13 and had a bass, let me tell you. I think it's time to call it.
I agree. We talked about this album for a long time.
I didn't think we would, and yet.
For over an hour and a half, we talked about this album.
Well, I'm very curious to hear what people have to say. You can share those thoughts when you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. As Andrew said earlier in the ep, go ahead and give us a rating and review. It really helps us out. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You can email us.
Sure.
magnifiedpod@gmail.com.
It's true.
Or leave us a voicemail, 872-762-4763, 872-7-MAG-POD.
If you'd like to support us and hear even more Goldfinger takes,
Jesus.
you can follow us at patreon.com/magnifiedpod. Not follow us, but go there and support us. And as usual, on the next episode, we don't really know what we're going to do. But whatever we do, it'll be about time for a podcast at our house. And it wouldn't be the same without you. So join us, won't you?
Driving down this road I know so well. Street lights just came on.
It's my favorite U2 song of 2017.
Since Don't Walk Away, at least.
Long gone. Together we will be alright. It's the little things that get in the way. Even when we are laughing.
When did The Edge join Goldfinger?
He's in that supergroup lineup.
Okay.